Through the first 25 games of the NBA regular season, the Boston Celtics have put themselves in a class of their own. Right now, they currently have a record of 20-5, and not only is that good enough for the best record in the Eastern Conference, but it's also good enough for the best record in all of the NBA. And this year's Boston Celtics look a little bit different from what we seen last year coming down the stretch. This year, it's their offense leading their dominance instead of their defense. Right now, they rank number 1 in offensive rating, and they also rank number 1 in the league in points scored per game. And defensively, they aren't looking too good. They definitely aren't looking bad either. Right now, they rank 16th in the league when it comes to defensive rating, which is right in the middle of the pack. And in my opinion, that's what's so scary about the Boston Celtics right now, that they are playing dominating basketball, winning just about every game, and they're not playing their best brand of basketball just yet. We look at last year's Boston Celtics team, they finished on the season just about top 3 in every single defensive category, and in the offseason we seen them maintain their nucleus, and their nucleus is what makes up all these great defenders: Marcus Smart, Al Horford, Jayson Tatum, and Jaylen Brown. And then they've also added guys like Malcom Brogdon, who's solid on the defensive side of the ball. So we know they're capable of turning it up on the defensive side of the ball, and I think we get so caught up in their greatness and what they're doing on the offensive side of the ball, they're winning ball games, that we tend to forget that they're missing one of the most impactful and one of the best defenders in all of the NBA, and that's Robert Williams. Now, the first thing I want to say about Robert Williams is that he's getting pretty close to returning for the Boston Celtics. He's been participating in contact drills, and he's even been scrimmaging with the team, so his return could be any day now for the Boston Celtics. And once he gets back out on the court, the Celtics are going to love him because he makes such a difference, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Now, Robert Williams plays the center position, and he's one of the best defenders in all of the NBA, and there is so many stats out there that proves just how impactful he is on the game of basketball. For an example, there's a stat out there that says when opposing players are being guarded by Robert Williams, their field goal percentage drops by 6% to what they normally would shoot, and that ranked for by far the best in all of the NBA. So there's so many stats out there like that for Robert Williams. This is also a guy that puts up over 2 blocks per game, and this is what I love about Robert Williams, is that he's so impactful. When he blocks a shot, he's sending it off the glass, or he's sending it into the crowd, giving a fan a nice souvenir to take home, and stuff like that. It really energizes the crowd if it's a home game, it demoralizes the crowd if it's an away game, and it also just pumps up your coach and your teammates. So I love that about him. He shows no mercy on his block shots, and I feel like last year the Boston Celtics had the perfect scheme defensively. They allowed Robert Williams, with playing him alongside Al Horford, it allowed him to play that free safety position. We would see Al Horford, he would guard the actual center on the team, and Robert Williams would guard the worst shooter. For an example, we saw it in the NBA Finals. He would be guarding Draymond Green, so he can free roam around and help as much as possible around the rim. So I love that for the Boston Celtics because it allows him to cover so much area. And it's another thing I love about Robert Williams, is that you can pit him in these types of situations to where he's not guarding the opposing team's big, because with his size, he's athletic and mobile enough to stay in front of smaller NBA players. And when they do try to work him out on the perimeter, he does a great job of forcing them into a bad shot and getting a contest, or better yet, getting a block. So Robert Williams, he's a great defender, elite rim protector, and he has a huge impact on the defensive side of the ball, and he's also a very solid rebounder. And last year we kind of saw the same thing with the Boston Celtics. They kind of got off to a slow start defensively, and then all of a sudden they had a surge on the defensive side of the ball, and it was led by Marcus Smart and Robert Williams. And once they set the tone on the defensive side of the ball, everyone followed along, and that's what I'm expecting to see this season, once Robert Williams come back, as he starts to get into game shape, I expect the Boston Celtics defense to get so much better. And Robert Williams isn't just a one-sided basketball player, he's also decent on the offensive side of the ball as well. Now, Robert Williams does exactly what the Boston Celtics needs him to do on the offensive side of the ball. They don't ask him to come out and be a dominant post player in the half court. That is not what they need from him. All they ask of Robert Williams is to take advantage when teams are giving Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown that extra attention, and that's all we've seen from Robert Williams so far on the offensive side of the ball. He does a great job of when he's setting the screen, rolling hard to the rim. He serves as a lob threat, very athletic, and he's good with his hands, so he's a pretty solid finisher around the rim, and he's just always in the right spot at the right time. He crashes the offensive glass, creates second chance opportunities, and he can easily average 10 to 15 points just off getting easy looks and hustling. So I think Robert Williams, he's very solid on the offensive side of the ball, and defensively, he's one of the best in all of the NBA. And my key word for him when it comes to defense is the impact that he has. It's game changing. And I'm going to come out and say, if Robert Williams can stay healthy and he played 65 to 70 games in an NBA season, I think he could easily win that Defensive Player of the Year award. It's all about health and durability when it comes to that award for him. So when we talk about the Boston Celtics, they're missing a key player like Robert Williams. How have they been so successful to maintain the best record in all of the NBA? And I think that answer is very simple. It's their dominant offense. And this high-powered offense is being led by none other than Jayson Tatum, who right now is probably playing the best basketball of his young NBA career. He's playing at an MVP level, and he's definitely pitting up MVP numbers. His team has the best record in the NBA, while he's averaging 30 points per game to go along with 8 rebounds and 4 assists. And one thing that I love about Jayson Tatum, with him having the basketball in his hands so much, I think he's doing a great job of taking care of the basketball. He's only averaging 2.5 turnovers per game. But Jayson Tatum, every year he continues to climb that ladder of the best players in the NBA, and I think last season he entered the top 10, top 8 category. He went on one of the best playoff runs last season. We just look at some of the guys that he knocked off. He knocked off Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. He knocked off Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he also knocked off Jimmy Butler. And all my true NBA fans, they know that Jimmy Butler in the playoffs, he's a completely different breed. But Jayson Tatum, he's just getting greater and greater every year. And one thing that I love from him is that he's getting his buckets within the offensive system of the Boston Celtics. I feel like this offense is very fluid and everyone is touching the basketball. Jayson Tatum, right now, he's just been a great product of the system. And some of the things that he's improved on since he's gotten into the NBA is easily his finishing, getting downhill, absorbing contact, and still finishing around the rim. We see him getting to the free throw line a lot more, and when he's this version of himself, he is so much harder to stop on the offensive side of the ball. So I think Jayson Tatum right now, he's the early favorite for the MVP award, and he's having a spectacular season for the Boston Celtics. And another guy that's responsible for this high-powered Boston Celtics offense is Jaylen Brown. And Jaylen Brown, just like Jayson Tatum, he's also having a great season. He's putting up 27 points per game, and that's why I don't call him a sidekick. These guys are definitely partners. They're both playing at a very high level. And Jaylen Brown, man, he came into this league known for lockdown defense, and his offensive game has gotten so much better. And I see so many videos in the offseason of Jaylen Brown working hard on his offensive game, and we see it paying off in the NBA. He can do just about everything on the offensive side of the ball. A confident 3-level scorer, can knock down that tray ball off the catch, off the dribble. He can put the basketball on the floor. He can operate the pick and roll, score in isolation. He has the mid-range pull-up, and my favorite part of his game is when he gets downhill, because it's always a chance of him pitting somebody on a poster. We've already seen him pit Donovan Mitchell on a poster this season. So Jaylen Brown, he has been great playing alongside Jayson Tatum, and the Boston Celtics have just done a great great job of putting a supporting cast around this team. We've seen how great Marcus Smart has been offensively this year, doing a great job facilitating and also playing without the basketball in his hands, whether it's knocking down a catch and shoot three or cutting to the rim. Malcolm Brogdon was a great addition in the offseason. He's been giving solid minutes off the bench. Derek White has had his moments this season. Blake Griffin has came in and gave valuable minutes to this team, and the list just goes on and on and on. And I made a video about this summer, man, that the Boston Celtics, they had one of the best off seasons in the NBA, and we just see how much deeper this team has been this season because they're missing one of their best players, Robert Williams, but they still have the best record in all of the NBA, and they've been winning in convincing fashion. So that's what I wanted to talk about with you guys today, is that the Boston Celtics, man, the scary truth is these guys are going to get even better as they start to get healthier and as this season goes on. But that's going to be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like, comment down below if you agree or disagree, and then subscribe for more weekly content. We do this all the time, man, and that's curtains.